So maybe you can help. I know I've got some friends watching that have moms with young kids at home. How do you give the busy mom some tips on recycling? What are some other things? Bring the bag.
Yeah.
I would think even setting aside your recycling bin separate and writing an intention, I intend to recycle all my recyclable containers.
You know, I think as a mom, one of the things I've seen is that I actually get the best tips from my kids. So, you know, recycle, reduce, reuse is a common thing in our house, putting the tap off when we're brushing our teeth. And these are things that my kids are always reminding me to do. We have a series on intent. If you go to intent.com/green, which is 30 days to a greener you. And that is every day from different experts of us, practical advice from everything on, you know, pet food to what you can do in the house to composting. So I think there are many things that we can do, you know, light bulbs, etc., that we can do, small steps that make a big difference. But, you know, I can say that, you know, I created these bags and it's my kids who remind me. You know, I think we have a new generation of children who are really growing up understanding at a very young age their connection to Mother Earth. And so I actually, of course, as parents, we're always influencing them and teaching them, but I think listen to your children as well because they are attuned to what's happening.
I love that. It's very, very powerful. So
you.
let's point out 100 Promises to My Baby is a book Mallika Chopra has written, and also 100 Questions from My Child, which I think will also benefit the busy mom. So thank you with that. And then you also just mentioned in terms of intentions to help Mother Earth. I think that there is something to say when you are doing those things that you know are making a difference and you know are beneficial to Mother Earth, you do feel better. So you get a byproduct, which is actually living a kind of a happier life, would you say?
Absolutely. Look, our personal health, our personal wellness is integrally connected to society and to Mother Earth. And so that's why when we said we're going to create a site on wellness, we said it has to be personal, social, global, and spiritual because we're all connected to each other. If Mother Earth is hurting and ailing, we can't be healthy ourselves. And that's something which I think is very important to keep reiterating to ourselves, to our children, and to society.
And the sense of community, I think, is really important, and sharing the stories, sharing the tips, what works, what are your children advising you to do, and how to share with the other people on your site and other sites, other people that are really trying to get a message out.
Yeah, when we launched Intent, what I realized, and that was more because I was fortunate to know a lot of people, is that there is amazing content out there. People are doing amazing stuff. Your site is doing amazing stuff. And I think part of it is people finding that content. So what we try to do is say, okay, if my intent is to take care of Mother Earth, now let me send you the best content to achieve that. If my intent is to find more balance, let's do that. So what we're doing is really aggregating all of the amazing voices that are out there, not only in the US, but globally, to address these topics.
Sharing is so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. This was amazing. I hope everyone learned a little bit more about the power of intention, setting intention, and the simplicity of actually doing it. You just have to go to Mallika's site, write it down, express it, and get some support from the other contributors to her site. I know we have some fans that have written some questions for us to ask you, if that's okay, Mallika.
Of course. Love to.
Okay, Sonia McCarty from Huntington Beach, California asks, what intentions will you be setting for the new year, and if setting only one at a time is a good idea?
You know, it's interesting. We have started on my team, and actually my father, who's obsessed with Twitter, setting an intention a day. So before we kind of used to set it every few days, but I have found that recently setting an intent a day actually has a really grounding aspect. So an example is a few weeks ago I was going through a very stressful time, and I just set the intent that I was going to maintain a sense of centeredness in all of the chaos. And I have to say, setting that intent in the morning, I'd keep coming back to it during the day. When I'd get stressed about something, I'd kind of come back to that. But I think specifically for my intents for next year, and I love the idea of using intents instead of resolutions, because I feel that intents come from a deeper place. My intents for next year remain to really kind of find that balance for my family. You know, I am a mom with 2 young kids and a husband and an incredible extended family. And so for me, it's always finding that balance between doing what I love to do by writing and intent, but fundamentally being there as a mother. So that is kind of the constant thread. But I also, my intent for our site intent is to kind of build momentum and more reach, because I think what we found this year that there were some stories that we were able to take a lead on and have a voice globally. And our intent is to basically help people share stories and, you know, make the world, frankly, a better place and people happier. So if we can build some more momentum, that's one of my intentions, I'd say, more on the professional and personal side.
Well, great question, because we did ask you earlier a bit about insight into the day of your life. So it's good to know that you actually set an intention a day.
Yes.
And probably you're setting something that you intuitively already know you need to hear throughout the day. So
well, and you know, the intents, we find some people have these really lofty intents, and then other people, my intent is just to pay my bills today. Like, seriously, it's
on time.
Yeah, it can be very practical and it can be very lofty. And so I think either works.
I love it. Lisa from Calabasas, have you ever felt held back because of your beauty and being a woman?
No, you know, I think for me, the feminine is so powerful. And I've written about this in my books as well, is that, you know, both my brother and I, because my father is so well known and famous, have kind of dealt in the past with expectations of us. And I think for me, actually, the process of becoming a mother and really embracing the feminine and embracing that role in my life was probably the most empowering thing that's ever happened in my life. And so you know, I think being a woman gives us so many gifts and talents and compassion and empathy and, you know, everything that comes with the feminine.
Well, I was just at the women's conference a week or 2 ago, and the theme was Be the Architect of Change. So I just felt it was very timely to discuss this theme with you, because I really think that they go together. You can build what you want your mind to acclimate towards, and I think that's consistent with setting an intention.
Yeah.
And
the first step to change is setting the intention, and that's why our it's intent, my path to wellness, because setting that intent is that first step to change. So it's very powerful. Very,
very powerful. Last question. I know you're starting a movie here. It's entitled How to Know God. Jennifer from Santa Cruz writes. Could you give us a little bit more background on this?
Yeah, no, that's actually, that film is out already, and we did 2 films with my father based on some of his best-selling books. So there's one called How to Know God and one on the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And that 7 Spiritual Laws of Success one has Olivia Newton-John in it. So, you know, my brother and I, we kind of try to help my dad on some of his media stuff. So those were 2 great projects that were a lot of fun and that are out now. So are probably available on Amazon.
Okay, well, everybody check it out. Selfishly, I have one just like inkling of question I want to get to Mallika. She visited Neverland Ranch, and I just have to ask her what that experience was like growing up. She was one of the lucky few.
Yeah, you know, because of my father, my brother and I and my mom, we were a very close-knit family, so we got a lot of exposure to incredible, incredible people, some of whom were famous and many and most who weren't. And so obviously Michael Jackson was someone I got to grow up with and who shared Neverland as kind of a home for us as well. So we did grow up going there a lot, and it was an absolutely magical place. Truly magical. I mean, as a child, you went there and it was like you were kind of in this incredible magical land. So it's something that I will forever be grateful for. And, you know, Michael was a very special person. So I feel blessed that in my life I got to spend some really good times with him.
Well, we're reverberating the energy from that. So thank you for sharing. And anyone who has such a blessed childhood that expresses and shares with everybody else, I think, is on their path to greatness.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today. What a pleasure, and what a fabulous day. Thank you so much. We hope to come back again with Mallika Chopra soon. See you.